Authority of heads of state and governments of ECOWAS encouraged to find durable solutions to political crisis in Guinea.
Economic activities along River Volta to improve our street stamps in Dambai portion of the river have been removed.
National Premix Secretariat to increase surveillance at landing beaches as it suspends supply of premix fuel to some communities.
And mass kidnapping and threats of violence in Nigeria are likely to affect 1 million students.
Good evening and welcome to the news on GBC News and on GTV. My name is Jonathan Thompson.
And I am Samuel Akwote.
And the headlines in the local segment has been brought to you by Munchy Biscuits. Munch into happiness. And we have the sign language been done by Robert Frimpong Manso. And now to our first story. President Akufo-Addo has charged the authority of heads of state and governments of ECOWAS to proffer durable solutions to the political crisis in Guinea. He said the decision that will be taken will have long-term consequences on the stability and defense on the democratic values of the region. President Akufo-Addo stated this in Accra when he opened an extraordinary meeting of ECOWAS on the political crisis in Guinea and Mali.
Sunday, September 5, 2021, a special military force known as the National Committee on Reconciliation and Development, led by Lieutenant Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, ousted Guinean President Professor Alpha Condé and suspended the country's constitution. The group accused the president of amending the constitution to extend his tenure for a third term whilst perpetrating injustice regarding the share of the national resources. The Guinean president is still in detention by the coup leaders. ECOWAS has since suspended Guinea from its regional bloc, demanding the unconditional release of the deposed president. A high-powered delegation was sent to that country to have a meeting with the coup leaders. The Accra Extraordinary Summit will discuss the outcome of the high-powered delegation on Guinea and steps taken to restore Guinea back to the democratic and civilian rule. All 15 member countries, with the exception of the suspended Mali and Guinea, attending the meeting. Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau, Niger are being represented by their respective heads of state, whilst Nigeria is represented by their vice president. Also present is the president of the ECOWAS Commission. Chairman of ECOWAS, President Akufo-Addo, who opened the summit, called for informed decision.
We reiterated our condemnation, suspended Guinea forthwith from membership of our organization, and decided to establish immediately to Guinea a high-level ECOWAS mission composed of the chairperson of the Council of States, the Ghanaian Foreign Minister, the Honorable Shirley Ayoko Boutre, the President of the ECOWAS Commission, His Excellency Jean-Claude Brune, the Foreign Minister of Burkina Faso, the Honorable Alpha Barry, and the Foreign Minister of Togo, the Honorable Robert Dussey, to assess the situation in that country and report back to us. The delegation went to Guinea on Friday, the 10th of September, met the military leaders, and saw President Alpha Condé in his place of detention. They have made a report to us, which will be the basis of our deliberations at this emergency summit on Guinea. We will receive also a report from the mediator of the Malian crisis, His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan, the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, on developments in Mali. We are required to take informed decisions on these matters that will have long-term consequences for the stability and the defense of the democratic values of our region. I count on you, Excellencies, to help proffer durable solutions to the crisis. And I'm confident that, as in the past, we will rise to the occasion.
ECOWAS will also deliberate on the crisis in Mali. The special representative on Mali, former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, who briefed the ECOWAS leaders, Gambia, Cape and Benin are represented by their foreign ministers.
And our correspondent Gilbert Enim has joined us on the line from Kempinski Hotel in Accra, where the ECOWAS members are engaged in an extraordinary summit to find a durable solution to the political crisis in Guinea. Hello, Gilbert. Gilbert, can you hear me?
Hello, Jonathan. I can hear you.
Okay, Gilbert, tell me what's happening at the summit right now.
Yeah, Jonathan, I can tell you now, as I'm talking to you, the summit has ended. The summit actually ended around almost 5 p.m. The authorities of head of states of ECOWAS they were locked up in about 6-hour deliberations, basically on Mali and Guinea. So the key point is that they were supposed to find ways of returning both Mali and Guinea to civilian rules.
Okay, can you specifically highlight what they actually came up with?
Okay, so the summit actually considered, there was a delegation that was actually sent to Mali, that was actually sent to Guinea, led by our foreign minister, who is the chairperson of ECOWAS Council of Ministers. She led the delegation to Guinea to find out what actually, to ascertain the problem in Guinea. And she was there on September 10th. She led the delegation on September 10th, so she was supposed to give a report today. The summit considered that report. The summit considered that report. And then there was another report that was also considered by the summit. That is that of Mali, which was spearheaded by former president of Nigeria, Mr. Goodluck Jonathan, who is actually the lead mediator in that. So these are the issues. As I speak to you now, we're actually waiting for, normally when they finish with such a summit, what comes out is they're supposed to issue a communique. And we are waiting for the communique. The communique, they are trying to put together the communique to tell us exactly what are the key decisions they have taken on those two countries. But the bedrock of the issue, of the issue is that ECOWAS is keen of returning those two countries back to civilian rule.
Okay. I don't know if you were able to talk to some of the members or the delegates in there to find out exactly what their expectations are after this whole summit.
So we were not able to, the way the summit was arranged with the media was actually, we had the videographers and the TV camera guys in there, and then the reporters were actually, so we couldn't actually interact with members. But we took messages, and then we took information from the president, the chairperson of ECOWAS, that is President Akufo-Addo, who was actually pushing for the subcontinental body to come up with durable solutions to problems of those two countries.
Okay. Now, you said they were locked up in a 6-hour long deliberation. Almost 6 hours.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about the atmosphere?
It was a very gentle atmosphere about them. It was a very serious and gentle atmosphere. About 8 heads of state, in addition to President Akufo-Addo, were here for the summit. We had foreign ministers of Benin, Cape and Gambia representing it. And Nigeria was actually represented by its vice president, that is Professor Osi Banjo. So it was a very gentle atmosphere, but it was serious. You could see from their faces that they actually want to see that the problems in these countries are resolved as soon as possible. So I can say that maybe for lack of a better word, I can see we saw urgency in their faces.
Okay, you saw urgency in your faces. We'll keep monitoring and get back to us with exactly the communique and, of course, the results that come out of that. Thank you very much, Gilbert.
You're welcome, Jonathan.
Gilbert Enim is our correspondent who is at the Kempinski Hotel where the ECOWAS Summit is going on.
Now, away from the summit, the Interior Ministry has declared Tuesday, September 21, as a statutory public holiday to mark Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Day. The day is set aside to honor Ghana's first president, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and to remember the legacy he left behind. The late President John Evans Atta Mills's government initiated a legislation in Parliament to declare September 21 a holiday in memory of Dr. Nkrumah.
Moving on, thousands of tree stumps removed on the River Volta along Dambai in the Oti region have been handed over to some communities. The removal of the stumps will significantly reduce the high risk associated with navigation on the river and also boost economic activities and enhance the inland transport system within that enclave.
Both disasters and deaths are a frequent feature on the Volta River. Tree stumps, overloading, poor safety checks, overcrowding and overspeeding top the list of contributory factors leading to these accidents on the Volta River. It is also a fact that boats are at a higher risk of running into a tree stump when the water level is low. For households whose economic dependence is the river, a boat disaster means loss of lives or goods. For some stakeholders, some of these accidents on our inland water transport systems are preventable if precautionary measures are put in place. Between 2018 and 2020, the Ghana Maritime Authority stepped up measures to remove one of the obstacles impeding safe navigation on the river, tree stumps. The two-year exercise was carried out along 4 routes with vast economic and social importance. The 30-kilometer Tumpanja, Kodia-Kope, Dambai, Injeri stretch, 2.5-kilometer Dambai, Kodia-Kope, 11 kilometers Yeji, Awukaja-Kope, and 18 kilometers Yeji, Mankago. In the work executed by the Ketekrachi Timber Recovery Team, volumes of these hazards were uprooted, bringing some safety and peace to the river. Now, ferrying and boat rides from Oti region to other parts of the country, especially the northern parts of Ghana, for economic activities has improved and also reduced commuting time.
Abra boat no bedru edi ngare po bedru Dambai na time atwam na to da phone nyina kwakọ asase tonton wo mu eno wo mu de ko jaso na mo sese ameke say Dambai ye ko Dambai a anopa by 5:30 na da ngare boat akwakọ dru Dambai esanse ekwana yetia mai.
The relief is being experienced on just one side of the river. There are numerous tree stumps also on the Volta River in the southern parts of Ghana.
Of course, it depends on our ability. So we're still looking at other areas that we think we need to make navigation clear. And if the resources are there, we will go into. The only cause of accident along the Volta Lake is not the tree stumps. It is the major cause, but we feel that the human factor is also very important, the overloading and others. So we are now bringing our men here to come and join forces with the neighbor task force who are already present, so that we can continue the education and other safety measures that we can put in place to ensure that we deal drastically with accidents that occur.
The next step was the handing over of these harvested trees to the host communities at Chonke, where the tree stumps were removed for use.
They will let us know what they use it for. Of course, they can use it for several purposes, furniture and others.
The chiefs were grateful for the gesture, which they say will help generate some income for the communities when sold. For GBC News, Clara Mlanu reporting.
Over 3,000 farmers, 100 company investors and players in Ghana's agricultural value chain will meet at the Aliyu Mahama Sports Stadium in Tamale for the 2021 Pre-Harvest Conference and Exhibition Program. It is a coordinated platform to link smallholder farmers to markets, finance, inputs, equipment and more through larger commercial farmers and traders capable of investing in smallholder production.
A decade of creating a common platform with heightened focus on public-private partnerships, investment opportunities, and creating an action-driven blueprint to increasingly sustain agricultural movement in the country. The Pre-Harvest Agribusiness Conference and Exhibition is a major interventional event on the agricultural sector's calendar. It is a platform to train, link stakeholders in the agricultural value chain, exhibit and expand opportunities for farmers and investors. The platform also ensures that smallholder farmers gain access to markets, finance, inputs, equipment and relevant information through larger commercial farmers and traders who are able to invest in smallholder production. More than 3,000 farmers are expected at the 2021 program. Over 100 companies and investors are also expected at this year's conference and exhibition at the Aliyu Mahama Sports Stadium in Tamale from 19th to 21st of October. At the media launch in Accra, the Executive Director of AgriHouse Foundation, Alberta Akosa, said the past years have been a success, an indicator that the Pre-Harvest Conference and Exhibition is playing a key role in transforming Ghana's agriculture.
Fertilizer companies, tractor and equipment companies, financial institutions, IT companies, they all come together to network, to link with farmers, and to also introduce their new solutions that will be more appropriate for farmers to adopt to support in scaling up the sector. So that's what really the pre-harvest is about. It has benefited, it started with 200 farmers, and now we have over 3,000 farmers participating who are able to come with little or no support and then come and participate in the session.
The organizers are hosting the 2021 pre-harvest event with a theme working together to improve market channels for agri-foods beyond the pandemic. And outside linking farmers and investors, there will be hands-on training to equip smallholder farmers with best practices for use on their farms.
Work as a team, learn from one another, and avoid petty and personal clashes to promote national development. The chairman of the Council of States, Nana Otu-Osirboa II, made this remark as an advice to governing boards and chief executives of the public services at an orientation program in Accra.
Of efforts to enhance the practice of good corporate governance in the public services, the 1992 Constitution made provision for the establishment of governing boards or councils under Articles 91 Clause 1 and 70 Clause 1 for public service agencies and corporations respectively. The public service boards and councils constitutes an essential component of the public service corporate governance architecture. They play critical roles in facilitating the successful execution of the agenda of governments, ultimately deepening corporate governance and the development of democracy in the country. The orientation program was the beginning of a series of workshops to be organized in Accra. The chairperson of the Public Services Commission, Dr. Janet Ampedu Fofie, encouraged the public service chief executives and governing boards to take the orientation serious in order to enhance performance. A former High Commissioner to Sierra Leone, Dr. Mokowa Ble Edujimfi, encouraged the officials to create value and deliver effective services even during the COVID-19 pandemic.
The COVID-19 pandemic has brought to the fore serious economic and social repercussions which requires the adherence and exercise of good governance practices.
The chairman of the Council of State, Nana Otu-Osirboa II, gave an admonition.
It is important to remember that rules and guidelines cannot, by themselves, ensure that our institutions are functioning efficiently and ethically. What is needed is the proper mindset and organization-wide culture that fosters ethical behavior and decision-making.
The workshop is on the theme, Good Governance Practices Amidst the COVID-19 Pandemic, the role of governing boards and councils. Yaira Lawe, GBC News, Accra.
Now, the National Premixed Fuel Secretariat has suspended indefinitely the supply of premixed fuel to 4 fishing communities in the central region for the use of light for fishing. The 4 landing beaches include Moree, British Commander, Abande and Dago. Meanwhile, the administrator of the National Premixed Fuel Secretariat, Nana Abrokwa Amari, in an interview with GBC News, said the suspension is not a ban on fishing in these communities, but rather a punitive measure or warning to them and other communities engaged in light fishing.
The National Premixed Fuel Secretariat says Ghana is in critical times in the protection of its natural resources, hence the need for drastic action to curtail illegal acts, especially in the fishery sector. The administrator of the Secretariat, Nana Abrokwa Amari, said Ghana has lost over $150 million to activities of light fishing.
The Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development has been engaging fishermen for a very long time. You know, we did way back 10 years ago, had a lot of stakeholder consultations. Prior to the close season, one of the engagements that came up very strongly, or one of the points that came up strongly during the close season engagement was the need to enforce most of this law, because there's no point in having a close season for a month and come back and coming to continue this illegality. Then that exercise becomes an exercise in futility.
Nabokwa added that the sector ministry would press on to sanitize the fishery sector to ensure that all fishermen comply with safe practices that would generate good yields in the industry instead of losses.
We want to get to a point where the fishermen themselves will come. We want them to be reasonable. We want them to have a change of mind. When we get that confirmation that they have turned over a new leaf and they don't want to engage in these illicit practices, we are going to restore supply to them. So until we get that firm assurance from the fishermen and their leadership, the ban still continues.
The Ghana Navy has held a memorial parade in honor of 15 heroes who fell at the height of the Liberian Civil War in 1990. The 15 who were on board Yogaga, a Ghana Navy ship that was part of the then Ecomoc, lost their lives when the ship came under heavy mortar attack in Monrovia.
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, established the ECOWAS Monitoring Group, ECOMOG, a multinational armed force, to help bring peace to Liberia. This was after the first internal conflict between 1989 and 1997 led to the death of some 200,000 people. Ghana Navy ships, Yogaga and Achimota, were part of the Ghanaian military contingent dispatched to Liberia to help in the operation. On September 14, 1990, GNS Yogaga, then from the Western Naval Command, now decommissioned, came under heavy mortar attack. This resulted in the death of 15 personnel of the Ghanaian team. Since then, a memorial parade is held annually on September 14. Though it was raining, the Navy defied the downpour to mark this year's parade in remembrance of the fallen heroes for their bravery and sacrifices. Wreaths were laid on behalf of the government, the Ghana Armed Forces, families of the fallen heroes and officers, ratings and civilian employees of the Navy. The flag officer commanding Western Naval Command, Commodore Seth Walker, said it pays to eulogize the fallen heroes. The district chief executive for Impoho, Mr. Ignatius Asas-Mensah, said government recognizes the role played by the gallant fallen heroes towards the eventual restoration of peace in Liberia. He urged Ghanaians to emulate their sacrifices by keeping faith with the country through loyalty, selflessness, and integrity.
The Volta Regional Police Command has arrested 3 persons for their alleged involvement in a police recruitment fraud. The 3 are Menya Bernard, aged 18, Ajeka Gotswe, 23, and Wemega Godson, 21, were arrested at Akachi for allegedly taking monies from applicants for placement in the ongoing police recruitment exercise. The Volta Regional Police, PRO DSP Efiatenge, gave details on their modus operandi.
What they do is they create Facebook accounts or social media accounts, specifically Facebook. Well, this syndicate, that's a 3 syndicate, they created a Facebook account using the Volta Regional Police Commander's name. They used a photograph and they sought for applicants or potential applicants on social media or Facebook. Then they present to you that since they are behind the regional commander or they are the regional commander, they would be able to help you to be enlisted into the service. So people believe with this, and they also send money to them, mobile money. One, to purchase a form of 100 Ghana cedis. Secondly, they go ahead to tell you they'll be able to give you a protocol placement. And so once you also believe in the lies they have told you or the model they are using, then you also send them money. So people have sent money ranging from about 300 Ghana cedis to about 2,000 Ghana cedis to these persons. And so when they were arrested, all the SIM cards that were used in collecting the monies from their victims were also retrieved.
A taxi driver who on a private television program allegedly confessed to killing a number of people has been refused bail for the 2nd time this week and has again been remanded into police custody. On September 13, Felix Mensah was arraigned before an Accra Circuit Court presided over by Madam Rosemond Bartosu. He pleaded not guilty to the charge of publication of false news, contrary to Section 208, Clause 1 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, and was remanded into police custody to reappear on September 16.
The suspect, Felix Mensah, made his first appearance before the Circuit Court on September 13. His first attempt at securing a bail failed as the prosecution opposed it. In court on Thursday, the prosecutor, Inspector Princess Teteboafo, told the court that prosecution had received a fresh information that required them to travel for further investigations. Defense counsel Mr. Theophilus Donko argued that the prosecution only came to court with empty sheets for the court to fill in. According to him, the case against his client is more of a spiritual issue than that of the physical, for which reason the suspect must be admitted to bail. He said the invitation to remand the accused person into custody was in bar state. The court, presided over by Madam Rosemond Bartosu, said the previous adjournment was short and did not give prosecution enough time. She refused another application for bail and adjourned the case to September 28. Meanwhile, Mr. Donko drew the court's attention to a complaint by his client that he was not being fed in custody. The prosecutor says she was only hearing that concern for the first time and promised the court would address it. The brief facts of the case as presented to the court was that sometime in September 2021, the attention of the police was drawn to a statement made or published on the Machi show on Onua television by the accused to the effect that he once buried a pregnant woman alive at Ashaiman. According to the police prosecutor, upon the receipt of this information, they launched an investigation into the matter, which led to the arrest of the accused. She said preliminary investigation revealed that the accused is a taxi driver and resides at Weja in Accra. She said it was also established during the investigation that on 2nd September 2021,
On an Unya TV morning show, Marching, being hosted by Captain Smart, the accused, in response to a question from the host, stated that he had killed several people in the past. The prosecutor said the accused also allegedly spoke about having buried a pregnant woman alive somewhere in Ashaiman to perform sacrifices for Mr. Alfred Agbeshi, a former MP for Ashaiman. However, the police are yet to extend their investigation to the scene where the accused allegedly buried the pregnant woman and other persons he mentioned on the show.
You're watching GBC News right here on GTV, and of course on GBC News. We will be back with more stories.
It's GTP,
the name behind authentic and original Ghanaian textile prints,
and West Africa's leading print and textile brand.
Step out in style in any GTP fabric.
Classy, head-turning, elegant, snazzy.
GBC newscasters are cloaked by GTP.
The outfits are designed by Joanna Fashions, Nyaba Estates, B Vogue and Designs, Kaswa,
and Alan David Collections, Havana Accra.
Men, strong and refined, the skincare you deserve. Dream.
Before lesson, learning was extremely difficult for me.
Learning was okay, but it was hectic.
After I started using the lesson app, things started getting better for me. And I started studying more than I used to do.
Biology has become a piece of cake because with any time in an exam hall where I'm forgetting something, any subject of biology, I'll just remember the picture a tutor used to describe a particular thing, and I'll quickly remember.
When we got this lesson app and she started to study, beyond our imagination and thoughts, she cleared her papers in SS2. I must tell you, it made me proud. I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
Download on the Google Play Store and Apple App Store.
At 72, I still receive salary alerts because I made the best decision to invest a lump sum into the retirement salary.
Invest a lump sum today in the Old Mutual Retirement Salary and enjoy guaranteed monthly income for life, funeral cover, and the option of signing on with a spouse. Please call Old Mutual today, 050-453-4333. Old Mutual, 176 years of doing great things.
Let us tell you the truth, it's not the magic that make a dream come true. It makes you achieve, but it's your hard work and your persistence. That's the way you will succeed. Dream a big goal, get up and do the road. Let us see you roll, but it's a long way to go. Whoa, fight and walk the extra mile. If you don't have enough energy when you find yourself lost in. Let us be your friend.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Today we have a very big surprise for all of you. You get a sonata. You get a sonata. You get a sonata. You so get a sonata if you're watching. You get a sonata. You get a sonata. You get a sonata. And you can get a Sonata too.
Everyone's excited about the MTN Act 25 promo. Just keep using your MTN number and talk, text, browse, and no more to gain points, and you could win one of 25 Hyundai Sonata vehicles and cash prizes each month in the MTN Act 25 promo. Dial *156# today and begin your journey to win big.
Hey, man, try.
Only on MTN, everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, it's time to do business, brought to you by MTN. MTN, everywhere you go. My name is Esther Edu Ohumeu. The appointment of 4 members of Ghana's leading indigenous oil marketing company, GOIL, have been ratified at an extraordinary general meeting in Accra. The newly appointed board chair, Mr. Reginald Daniel Lai, said he looks forward to continue projecting GOIL's products as a premium brand which gives value for money.
Come with diverse backgrounds. The new GOIL board chair, Mr. Reginald Daniel Lai, has expertise in marketing and advertising. He is the past president of the Advertising Association and first Africa director of the International Advertising Association. Another member of the board is Mr. John Buedu, currently the general secretary of the New Patriotic Party, is an accountant, quantitative analyst and political strategist. Madame Angela Forsing is the current general manager for the institutional banking team in the Consolidated Bank, Ghana. Another kid on the blog of GOIL is Mr. Edwin Provençal. He is the managing director of Boast. And as part of the requirement of the Companies Act, an extraordinary general meeting was held in Accra to get new board members ratified. The managing director of GOIL, Mr. Kwame Osei-Prempeh, expressed optimism that the new hands on the board will not only bring diversity but also professionalism to enable the company stay ahead of the curve. He appealed to Ghanaians to patronize GOIL products and invest in its shares.
GOIL sells the best products in this country. So if you patronize it, you are not only helping GOIL and Ghana government, you are also saving yourself. Investing in stocks and shares is a necessity across the world. Our bitumen project, worth over $27 million, is coming on board. So that if you buy in GOIL, it means that you are going to be part of this investment.
The new board chair, Mr. Reginald Daniel Lai, said he looks forward to giving customers value for money and good returns on shareholders' investments.
Our concentration will be to project GOIL products in the premium category. We'll be keeping a close eye on shareholder value. So we'll be looking at the value of the shares. We're not just going to look at absolute numbers, but we're going to look at things that really engender profit. In a highly competitive situation where you're dealing with paper-thin margins, how do we improve upon the systems? How do we eliminate waste? One thing we've got to be very proud of GOIL is that it's a highly resilient company, and it survived COVID-19, and I think we're on the road to achieving greater successes. GOIL
is the only indigenous oil marketing company listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange with a share price now at 160 pesos.
The International Labour Organization wants employers to introduce family-friendly policies that makes it easier for parents to work on flexible terms. The UN agency is urging employers to consider working from home schedules in instances where they are applicable.
The International Labour Organization continues to champion decent work, equal pay for equal work, gender equality and inclusiveness at the workplace. The organization believes that gender equality and inclusiveness avails the best of both men and women and increases productivity for enterprises. Speaking on the sidelines of a 2-day training program for social partners of the ILO's SCORE program in Accra, certified ILO trainer Mrs. Anita Biafi Asino called for policies that support both men and women at the workplace.
A lot of top people, whether it's working from the global brand, all talking about the fact, CEOs and all that, talking about the enjoyment they've been having working from home, the fact that their kids come home from school, they can see them, sometimes they can work shorter hours and pick them and then carry on their work. Then I also really appreciating this change that is happening where they can also have some flexibility and be part of the family. So I cannot keep emphasizing the benefits and the importance for companies in Ghana to begin to embrace gender equality.
She called for a national discussion that will lead to enterprises developing policies that will create equal platform for both men and women.
Gender equality is not pushing any gender out, it's not trying to take over any job. Women are not saying put us here because we're women. We're just saying let's create an environment where it's equal for all. We're even talking about inclusive and diversity, where we don't even also go so far as even discriminating against other ethnic groups, and we're an inclusive organization so we can tap into all the positive things that people bring in, women and other diverse groups bring into our workplace.
The ILO's core training program on gender equality at the workplace is being financed by SECO and the Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation, NORAD.
The Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications has asked government to discard plans of introducing taxes on mobile money transactions. The request by the chamber follows ongoing concerns among mobile money agents and other stakeholders of a likely introduction of taxes on mobile money. Also, a few months back, mobile money agents across the country kicked against a 10% tax they say was being imposed on their earnings by the government. According to the chamber, mobile money transactions are already being taxed and there is therefore no need for additional taxes. Between June 2020 and June 2021, active mobile money accounts have risen from 15.5 million to 18.3 million. Let's have the interbank and commodity figures for the day. Yeah, thanks for watching.
Hello, welcome to the energy segment. I'm Dominic Moji. As the oil and gas industry gets up towards a net zero emission by 2050, energy analyst Dr. Yusuf Suleiman says achieving the net zero climate change target demands greater research into more renewable energy options to replace current fossil fuels. His emphasis is on the importance of coordination among investors, consumers and industry players for smooth transition into a renewable energy era ideally by 2050.
Is talking about net zero by 2050, and each and everyone has an independent strategy of getting to net zero. A century-old industry like fossil fuel or oil and gas, you don't expect to replace a quantum of resources with huge investment within a decade, 2 or 3. That is not possible. In fact, natural dictates of the economy in terms of energy security will not even allow that, and that's what is actually happening. So I was expecting that there would have been that coordination between investors, producers, that is those who are currently championing fossil fuel, that is oil and gas, and customers. The coordination is number one, the investor community, the consumers who are the customers that are output, and then the players that will champion a strategic path through this transition so that we'll have a bumpless transition, a transition that will not have energy security ramifications, so that at the end of the day, if we knock out the world of hydrocarbon, we should have something similar in terms of affordability, in terms of availability, and in terms of dependability to replace that. That is renewable. But currently, as we speak, that is not there. We need some more research into the world of renewables. And so within that period of transition, I think that is the best time for the champions of green energy movement and renewables to invest more into R&D, research and development.
Ghana's overall hydro, thermal and solar generation was 55.1215 gigawatt hours within the last 24 hours. The country exported 4.1341 gigawatt hours of power to neighboring countries within the last 24 hours. We have some more details.
For hydro energy generated in the past 24 hours, Akosombo recorded 13.0040 gigawatt hours. 2.4040 gigawatt hours, and Bui 9.0079 gigawatt hours. Here is what functional thermal power producers contributed to the generation mix within the period. The 3 hydro power plants produced 24.4159 gigawatt hours. Operational thermal power plants contributed 30.4387 gigawatt hours. And total solar generation was 0.2669 gigawatt hours. Total power generation was 55.1215 gigawatt hours within the last 24 hours. For hydrology, the water level in the Akosombo Lake was 81.077 meters below the maximum level of 84.73 meters, while the level in the Bui Dam was 176.830 meters below the maximum elevation of 183 meters in the last 24 hours.
And that's it for the energy segment.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling healthy.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
So what's your pleasure than Votras here at that time of the morning?
You want it served buffet style, complimentary breakfast?
On-site restaurant?
Or room service?
We've got you covered.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
With a trusted team.
So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
This segment is brought to you by NS Chemist. There is an increase in premature births at the Eastern Regional Hospital, Koforidua. This has put a lot of pressure on the hospital facilities and staff. Our correspondent Michael Tayamate caught up with the health officials at the neonatal intensive care unit of the hospital to ascertain the cause of this development and challenges that it poses to them.
Well, I am currently at the neonatal intensive care unit of the Eastern Regional Hospital, precisely in Koforidua, where preterm babies and other babies with different diseases are kept for treatment. So we are here to find out from the doctors and then the nurses what causes these preterm babies, and then the challenges that they face in taking care of these babies. So with me to do the discussion is Dr. Francis Melson Akwete, pediatrician at the facility here, to throw more light on it for us. Can you tell us what is the preterm baby?
Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting us here. Preterm baby is just a baby who is born before the time he's supposed to be born. So usually, according to medical standards, a baby should be born after 37 completed weeks. That would be normal delivery. But before, if you are born before the 37 completed weeks of gestation or pregnancy, you are assumed to be preterm. So for a preterm baby, the weight could be very low. Some can be low as 1 kg. Some of you have 0.8 kilograms. That's 800 grams.
For how many period do you have to keep the babies here in the incubator before you discharge them?
It depends on the babies. You can get 2 babies coming with the same gestational age. It depends on how both will respond to treatment. Yes, so let's say 2 weeks to 3 weeks. We keep most of them between 2 to 3 weeks before discharge.
You can see you have the call it phototherapy machine or device. This one is called a Firefly. We have another one there, but this one is an overhead phototherapy machine called the Drager machine. So this one to babies who have jaundice, they are called neonatal jaundice, where their eyes are yellow, their skins are yellow, and the jaundice can be so bad that it can bilirubin, that's the bilirubin in the blood, can be so bad that can penetrate the brain. When it enters the brain that way, the baby is at risk of having other problems. So later on, the baby can develop cerebral palsy and other defects, brain defects. So because of that, we want to this machine sort of, in the layman's terms, melts the jaundice or reduces the jaundice in the blood so that it doesn't penetrate the brain. But this device, we don't have enough. We could have about, sometimes we can have about 10 babies who require this, but we have about 6. So just imagine.
The health segment was brought to you by NS Chemist. The foreign news returns shortly.
Million Nigerian children will likely stay away from school because of the threats of violence after a series of mass kidnappings and attacks targeting students this year. More than 1,000 pupils have been snatched in mass abductions for ransom by criminal gangs in Nigeria's northwest and central states since December, with dozens still in captivity.
Court in Accra. In one of the marquee matchups of the men's Group B, the University of Ghana men's team defeated Adenta Tax Foundation by 56 points to 46.